Welcome to another episode of Stowe Nation, a production of Park Media. Before I introduce today's guest, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share, and leave a 5-star review. And if you find this podcast useful in any way and want to pay us the ultimate compliment, head on over to our Patreon page where you can subscribe to be a Classic, Stealth, or Beast Mode subscriber. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to the Patreon site where you can literally support this podcast for less than a cup of coffee per month. Okay, moving on through a snappy transition. Today's guest is Chad and Paul. Chad and Paul have been living full-time on the road over the past year. They started off in a Winnebago Travato, and they just recently came over to the dark side and joined the Stowe Nation community. Prior to becoming nomads, Paul worked as an attorney and Chad as a speech-language pathologist in Brooklyn, New York. Both grew tired of the 9-to-5 life and worked hard to build a remote income through online businesses that gave them the freedom to travel the country full-time. Other than traveling, some of their favorite activities are scuba diving, one-wheeling, and eating as much delicious vegan food as they can. They are not a fan of campsites and strictly boondocked. And if you didn't know, they've been documenting their travels on their YouTube channel named Chad and Paul. Other than their YouTube channel, you can find them on Instagram at Chad and Paul. So without further ado, please welcome to the Stowe Nation family, Chad and Paul. Welcome to the Stowe Nation podcast. Thanks for being a guest.
So pumped to be here. Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, of course. This is so cool because you guys are the first people that I'm actually doing a podcast in person with. And I mean, not to degrade doing the FaceTime thing, but it's just not the same, you know what I mean? And so you guys are here in the flesh, and it's so ironic because I watch your YouTube videos, right? And then it's like, you guys are just like these awesome characters that almost seem fictitious in a way, you know what I mean? And then, wham, you're here. And so I'm like a little starstruck. Anyways. But I appreciate you guys making the stop here in Tucson.
It's great. It's so beautiful here.
Yeah, we love the saguaros. It's just another world for us. Very cool.
Have you been to Saguaro National Park yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We didn't know there was there's an east and a west park. So we pulled in and we're like, wait, we've never been here before. I thought we were here last year, but it's very different.
So to get down to business, okay, you guys came from a Travato 59 KL?
Right.
And so that had the Volta system in it too, right?
Yep.
Okay, but then you switched to the Storyteller.
Yeah.
Why?
Good question. I feel like the Travato for us was the right van at the right time. Mm-hmm. The layout was really nice. So we love each other dearly, but we do appreciate sleeping in separate beds, especially when you're in a van, and your own space is at such a premium. It's nice to be able to have your own little bed.
Right.
So that Travato K floor plan was great. And we'd heard so many wonderful things about Volta. We work full-time from the road, so having, power that we didn't have to worry about was something that was important to us. So that's kind of what got us into the Travato, and it served us really well for almost a year.
Yeah, it was a very comfortable van, having the twin beds, but it did have... Yeah, it had a fixed toilet. So
that must have been nice.
Yeah, it was nice. But then you have to worry about the black tank, which is another thing. But it had some shortcomings for us ultimately.
And what were those shortcomings?
Well, like Chad was saying, we both work from the road, and in that floor plan, there's really only one place to do work. And you have to swivel around the driver's side seat, and there's a little table, tiny table that you can fit a 13-inch laptop on, and that's it. Otherwise, the other person has to sit in the bed and do work, and your feet don't touch the floor because it's so high up. It just wasn't comfortable.
And I was usually that other person. So I was like laying in bed most of the day just doing work, or sometimes I actually use the bathroom in there to do work and just to get my own space. Because there are points when we would both be taking calls, on like Zoom call. And so I had to kind of go in the bathroom and shut the door, and it wasn't pleasant.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Also the van, the Winnebagos are great. It's a big mass-produced van. I actually think the Travato is one of the most produced, Class Bs out there. So the build quality just wasn't there for us, especially living in it full time. You're using it pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the Travato has all these like little custom plastic pieces, and so when they break, you have to special order them. They cost like way too much money.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of over time, we're ready to move on and get something, that has more flexible workspace for us. And we found the Storyteller Facebook group, so we could kind of get a feel for the community there, which was great. And as soon as we saw one, we were like, that's it. That's the one for us.
That's awesome. Where did you get to see it? Because I know a lot of people don't get to see it since they're, they sell as soon as they hit the lot.
Yeah, we got really lucky. So there was a used one at sitting out of La Mesa in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And we're like, oh, let's go check it out and sit. And as soon as we sat in it, it was like, you get a feeling where it's like, this feels like home. When we were looking for our first apartment in Brooklyn, we would go around and you get a sense where it's like when you're in a space, you're like, this is gonna be my next home. That's the sense we got when we first sat in the Storyteller.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think it really was meant to be, because Chad had been calling dealers and saying, hey, we just want to look at one, and everyone's like, it's not going to happen. Like, there's just none to look at because they just sell so fast. So we were putting out feelers, and then we found this used one. We were literally sitting in it, looking at it, and then Chad got a call from another dealer who said, we might have one available that's coming up that you might be able to grab, like while we were sitting in this used one.
Oh, wow.
So it's just...
And they were like, they were like, you have 1 minute to decide. Let us know if you want it.
Seriously.
Yeah. So I was like,
yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
A hell yes.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
awesome. So what were some of the things that drew you to the Storyteller, other than the workspace? Anything else?
So the Volta was huge. Having gotten used to Volta in our Travato, I don't think we could live without it at this point, because it's so nice to not have to think about power. And it's such a well-designed system that we knew that was like one of the top priorities for us.
So is it the same Volta system in the two vans as far as like power and... Okay.
Yeah.
I think that this one, just because it's newer, I think is maybe a little bit of a newer model of their system.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same amount of juice and everything?
So we had the National Park Foundation Edition Travato, which
cool.
came with, I think, an extra module.
Oh, okay.
So the base Travato, I think, has less watt hours.
Okay.
But the one we had, I think it's similar, if not exactly the same as the one in the Storyteller.
So how do you guys feel about the bed layout, going from separate beds to sharing a bed? Or do one of you sleep in the main bed and the other one sleep in the Groove Lounge? Or
Right, we still have separate beds.
like who's is thrown to the doghouse?
Well, that's funny. Neither, because Chad sleeps in the big bed, and I sleep in the Groove Lounge, and we both love our spots. I love where the Groove Lounge. He loves that.
Yeah.
I've tried sleeping with him in the bed, and it's very comfortable, but I end up in the morning. I end up in the Groove Lounge by the morning.
Then those are the times when I persuade him to sleep in the bed with me.
Oh my goodness!
Just we roll onto each other.
And Orlando's there, so we have a dog. So it's like the three of us. It becomes hot. It's like a whole.
Do you get the cupboard concussion when you sit up or lay down?
It usually takes me a long time to learn lessons, but that was a lesson I learned. Normally it takes me 3 or 4 times. That was a lesson I learned after once, and I kind of got the flow. But I actually like the Groove Lounge too. It's a really comfortable place to sleep. We just roll out a pad, and there it's nice because you got the big window there, and you can sit up. So maybe we'll trade next month and see.
How about that?
That's funny. So where does Orlando sleep? So first of all, whoever doesn't know you, A, they're crazy, but B, you also have a dog, right?
Yes.
Orlando. So Orlando is a Chihuahua mix, or can you clarify that?
He's a Chihuahua. He's mostly miniature pincher.
Okay.
But he has some Chihuahua in him.
Okay.
And he's about 7 pounds. Very big personality. A loud bark. And he's our alarm system.
Nice.
And yeah.
So does he sleep on the Groove Lounge, or?
He's supposed to sleep on the floor behind the driver's side seat on his blanket. Will sometimes end up in my bed, sometimes end up in Chad's bed.
By sometimes, Paul means every single night. You can't say no to that.
It depends how cold it is. Depends how cold it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Good point.
He's a little furnace, I guess. So when we're cold, we just Snuggle him close. It keeps us
Aw.
warm.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So how long have you had the storyteller now?
2 months?
2 months, yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
it's still
Okay.
pretty new. We got it in, got delivery
Mid-January.
mid-January,
In
yeah.
January. So what are your impressions so far?
We're really impressed and really love it.
Yeah. What's other than the office space and the Volta, what else do you love about it?
We love how modular it is. Like I love that they call it the mode, because like that's really like how we use it. We put it into different modes. We wake up in the morning and we have 2 beds, and in about 5 minutes we have no beds. Like it's just the beds are away, and you can pull out the shower and shower mode and then put it away. You know, Chad uses the back half the Murphy bed down to do work as a stand-up desk. I'm sitting in the Groove Lounge. I can swivel the seats around. It's just so like adaptable in a way that our Travato wasn't.
Yeah.
That couldn't be, because everything was fixed. You know, we have a smaller van and it feels like more room. Like we have things in our garage now in the back that we never could have fit in the Travato. We got these electric skateboard things called One Wheels.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are pretty sick.
They're so much fun.
So much fun.
Please let me ride one.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
for
will.
sure. After this,
But don't take me when I fall off.
We're going to bring all the equipment with us and
Oh
follow
my
you
God.
around.
Oh,
But that never would have fit in the Travato. We actually have a garage now. It's
Nice.
it's just nice. It feels so much bigger.
Yeah. And you know, there are like a lot of things on paper that we love so much better, like the build quality, you know, the shower, the adaptability. But like honestly, I just feel like it's so badass. Like it's just plain cool. You know what I mean? From outside to inside, and then the community itself skews a little more younger, a little more diverse, a little more adventurous than, you know, other RV or van communities. So it's really been nice to be a part of, you know, the storyteller community too.
So have you guys done any mods yet, or are you still filling things out to see what you guys want to do? I mean, like, what's on the maybe list?
Does beer in the fridge count as a mod?
Absolutely. Wait, you don't have beer? Get out.
Because that was day one. That was our mod day one.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny because when we were in our Travato, when we first got it, we had this long list of mods from day one that we wanted to do. And we just never got around to them because we were just so busy traveling around and exploring. And this time we made a conscious effort to say we're not going to get a mod until, you know, something comes up and we decide, oh, hey, it would be really helpful to get that.
Yeah. But we do have a list now.
What's that?
So the first thing we want to get is an upgraded suspension. Ours squats a little in the back because we just have so much weight back there, and we just, I don't think we would have considered it had it not been for the Facebook group, because so many people post in there that they've gotten a suspension upgrade, and it's just an amazing difference.
Right.
Especially when you get the wind on the highway and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can testify that. Have you what kit are you guys looking at? The VC or the Agile? Or is there? I don't know if there's something else out there, but I think Sumo Springs, but that's like child's play these days.
Yeah.
We're looking at the VC.
Okay.
Is the one we're looking at. Yeah.
Which one?
So everyone said you can either get the 4 or the 6, I believe.
I think with the, don't quote me, I don't want a lot of hate mail on this, but I think with the 4.3, you can keep the van at the same level, and then if you go higher, it'll give the lift. And with the Agile, you automatically get like approximately like 2 inches lift. So
yeah, so I think that's why we wanted to go with the 4.3, whichever one didn't require the lift was one that we wanted to go for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you know that they came out with their shocks were adjustable, but they came out with this new thing where they can wire it through the control panel inside the van, and you can adjust it in the van, like I think maybe on the fly.
Wow.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like right next to the 4-wheel drive, there's like an extra button now.
That's
yeah.
so
I think
cool.
I forget his name. I think his name is Lorenzo. I think he might have gotten it. I don't know. He posted it the other day, but I was like, whoa, that's so sick.
Yeah,
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
now we're adding another thing to the...
Yeah.
No, that's cool. It's funny because in the Facebook group, everyone loves their suspension upgrade. So it's hard to kind of compare, you know.
And no one can like objectively compare all of them because no one's gotten all of them
Exactly.
So, but everyone's been happy with whatever they've gotten. So
Yeah. Are you guys going to the Mode meetup next month?
For sure, in
Okay.
Moab, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
there along with a
nice.
bunch of other people.
Cool. Yeah, we're excited.
But that'll be like, I think the reason why I ask you is because I think that'll be a good opportunity to check out the different suspension styles
Oh,
to
yeah.
see what would fit you guys best. Because dropping like what $4, $5, $6,000 on suspension, that's an investment.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. So, so what else is on your list?
We're thinking the Van Wife shelf.
I can tell you from experience, it's must have.
Really?
Yeah, like it's maybe you might have an issue because you're taller,
Yeah.
but I mean, you'll learn that lesson too.
Actually, it's funny because in our Travato, we had that same shelf, and I did not learn my lesson on that one. I feel like every single week there was just like a
Oh my
a
goodness.
headbanging moment.
Problem is when he wears his hat, he doesn't notice it.
Oh,
Smacks his
yeah.
head.
That's funny.
So yeah, we're definitely considering that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would say just from experience, it's probably like top 3 for me.
Mm.
Yeah, because you get the curtains. I don't know if you guys want the curtains for privacy blackout.
Yeah.
I have I did try out the Van Wife curtain, and just for my purposes, it didn't work out for me. But I put my own curtains up, and it's fantastic.
Mm.
Yeah. So if you want that kind of privacy, or
Yeah.
just like blackout something, yeah. Anyways,
Paul also wants a hood wrap.
ooh, why?
Good question. Why, Paul?
Well, the hood wrap apparently makes it easier to clean off bugs, but really, I just think it looks cool.
That's it.
That's
What
really
color?
it is.
What color?
It's black.
Okay,
Straight black.
nice. And what color is your mode?
It's white.
White. Okay. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta murder that thing out. That'd be nice. Anything else on your to-do?
we did get the seat back organizer.
Okay.
We ordered that from Storyteller. We got that for the passenger side front seat.
Okay.
So we already got that. That's really nice because any little extra room, when we got it, we're like, we're going to put in this. Like we already downsized so much.
Yeah.
So
Did you have to downsize a lot from coming from the Travato to the Storyteller?
I feel like the biggest thing was getting rid of crap that we didn't even know we still had in it.
Right.
Because there's a lot of like overhead storage and things you just kind of throw your crap.
in the Travato.
Yeah, in the Travato. So in the Storyteller, we could just be a little bit more conscious about, keeping the things we actually use.
Yeah, that's good. What's like, other than like your equipment to record YouTube, like what are some of your priority belongings that you have that you just have to take with you other than Orlando?
Yeah.
That's,
So I don't think we have
Well, the one wheels.
the one wheels now.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that was a bit of, so I took some convincing with the one
Yeah.
wheels for
Oh,
sure.
really?
I'm surprised he said yes to it,
Yeah.
but he loves it. We both love him. So
I think it's because I loved the garage space. Like I used it all day as like a stand-up desk, and I could kind of walk
Mhm.
around. So it
Okay.
takes up a little space there, but it's so worth it. So those are one of our
Yeah.
top possessions right now. I'd
and I don't
say.
think I don't know if the one wheels would work in a van unless you had Volta.
right?
Because it is electric. You got to charge them up. I can't imagine charging those in solar.
Yeah, and
So
it's so
that's
nice
nice.
to just while you're driving, pop on the inverter and charge them right up.
Mhm.
You don't see a dip. But other than that, so I had a ukulele that I loved and carried around in our Travato, but I decided to forego
Aw.
that because I didn't really use it that much, and I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, we had to get rid of anything that was like, well, I use this, but like once a year,
Right.
twice a
Mm.
year. You don't have room
Yeah.
for that. So we also have our computers because we work. Clothes. And we're big foodies, so
Okay.
make room for food and we'll eat out.
Yeah.
Do you eat out more or do you cook more? Or is it a equal balance?
So I wouldn't call it cooking. I'd call it more assembling. I think that's more
Yeah.
accurate. I actually cooked a lot in the Travato, and I was really excited to cook in the Storyteller. But being on the road full time, we love hiking and being out and like exploring.
Mhm.
So a lot of times our go-to meals are just like quick salads and things you can
Okay.
throw together rather than an actual cooking
That
endeavor.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you love about the Storyteller?
The 4x4 has really come in handy, especially
And the
out here,
clearance.
and the
On
clearance.
the
Yeah.
bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent our first 2 months in Florida, way too long in Florida, I
Yeah.
think, because we had to sell our Travato, and then we weren't getting the Storyteller for what, like 2 months, maybe.
little over a month. Yeah.
So we spent that month in a hotel room in Orlando and almost went crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
At first we're like, oh, this is gonna be great. And there's like
So
a
much
hot
room.
tub and a shower. You know what I mean? It would be amazing. But after a week, we're like, we just don't belong here. Like we need to be on the road, traveling around. So when we were in Florida, we obviously didn't need the 4x4 or any clearance. But as soon as we got out here, there were actually a couple spots that we remember last year being in the Travado that we couldn't get to or didn't feel comfortable getting to. So here was like, no problem.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. Yeah.
So with the 2 months that you've been in the Storyteller, is there anything that, if you're like the chief designer, you would probably think about designing a different way?
Yeah.
For me, there are two things that are like little and a little bit silly, but they do make a difference in my mind.
Okay.
So one is there's that USB charger right next to the Dreamweaver bed that lights up blue. And I sleep there, and so I want to charge my phone there. So there's just a blue light,
Oh my goodness.
all over.
There's no way to cover it? That's like the Volta light where you have to put the patch over.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So we did with like black electrical tape, but if I were to design that, I would just say put a USB charger that doesn't have that constant blue light.
It's Chad's not just complaining a little bit. It's very bright. It's
Oh my goodness.
alarming. I don't know. It's very strange.
Is it brighter than the Volta green light?
I feel like it's just as bright, but it's smaller.
Oh, so it's more concentrated.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh. Right next to your head? Okay,
Yeah.
I totally get it.
At first I was like, oh, it's nice blue, it's chill, it's like a little lounge vibe, but no. It's not working out.
What else? You said two things. What was the other one?
The screens.
Right.
So the one thing we loved about our old van was the roll-left screen. They're so well made, well designed, and they're really clean when they, fold away. And everything in the Storyteller is so beautiful, and like the design, it's very clean and sleek, except for the kind of like rumpled hanging bug screens right above the sliding door. They don't really fold up well. They're a little bit sloppy. Again, it's like a minor little thing.
Right.
But I feel like having like something a little bit more cleanly designed when it rolls up would kind of fit with the rest of the vibe of the van.
Yeah, Roll-Off's a company in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And their screens, whatever reason, you can roll them up really tight. So it looks very clean. And these ones that we have aren't like that. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
What about you, Paul? Is there anything that you would change other than those two things?
Those two things. Also, what I thought would be nice, not necessary, is in the back. It'd be cool if there was a switch for the water pump in the back, so that if you come back from a hike or walking the dog and he's muddy, you can open up the back doors, take out the outdoor shower, switch on the water pump, and spray down without having to walk into the van. So that'd be cool. But that's it, right?
Yeah, I can't. Other than that, we're probably still in our honeymoon phase a little bit. But other than that, it just works. It's such a perfect fit for us.
Yeah,
that's
like
good.
There's never a moment in the day where I'm like, dang, I wish that we had this in the van or that was different.
There are some weird quirks with the Sprinter, but very minor.
Yeah.
Like,
do you check the power steering clamp on a reg?
So I made sure when we got it that it was taken care of and it wasn't actually just inspected. It was like replaced. I think now it's an official recall.
It is,
right?
yeah.
So I made sure that was like one of the first things I confirmed before
That's good.
we picked it up. Yeah.
I know that's I think the major issue with that chassis right now is just that, no one wants to get stranded with a 10,000-pound vehicle with no power steering.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't be able to steer it.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure you guys probably could.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to find. You're not trying to find out, right?
Yeah,
No.
not yet. No, not going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys are full timers.
Yep.
You guys are from Brooklyn, and then one day you're just like, screw it, let's move into 100 square feet and call it a day.
Not quite, but almost.
Close though, almost.
So, we were both living in there, and Chad was a speech pathologist working there. I was a lawyer in Manhattan. And I don't know, we just got kind of like sick of the daily grind. So we started to look at like alternative ways of living, started looking at YouTube videos about living in vans, RVs, boats, started to look at alternative ways to make money. So we started some online businesses on eBay and Amazon, and then those took off. So then we decided to leave New York City and move to Florida. So we did that for about 7 months living in Florida. And then we said, you know what, really, we could be anywhere. So that's when we bought the Travato. Moved in. Yeah.
And I feel like the hardest thing wasn't actually moving into a van, it was leaving Brooklyn.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because that was just our community. That was like our home for so many years.
Did you guys grow up there?
So I grew up in Philly, and Paul grew up on Long Island.
Okay.
So not too far.
Okay.
But, you know, you build a community, like, you know, your grocery store you go to, your local hangouts, and that's kind of where your community is. And so the one thing we were nervous about was leaving there and kind of just being alone or isolated. But actually, once we moved into the van, we found out we were more social living in a van than we were
really?
when we were living in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I think it's because anytime we meet another van lifer, we instantly have something in common and something to talk about. And a lot of van lifers, they like want to talk. They want to socialize. And I feel like in our old life, I don't know if we just got started to take people for granted, which, you know, like seeing our coworkers every day, like, you know, you already know them so well that you kind of take them for granted and don't really get to know them really. I don't know. Does that sound right?
I feel like there's also, when you're in a van, there's something so magical about meeting up with someone on one end of the country and then just running into them, you know what I mean, on the other coast. Like I don't know what it is about Cracker Barrel, but we make a lot of friends in Cracker Barrel parking lots.
Oh my goodness. Don't go to Walmart.
Yeah, no. We start Walmart. I don't know what. So things have changed really quickly for Walmart. I feel like early last year, we had good experiences and they were a lot more open, and now they're all stopping, you know, campers parking there.
Yeah, I think people just abused it, you know.
Yeah.
And then plus, I think overall the homeless situation is kind of on a rise throughout the entire country. So, I mean, I don't want to say that's the reason, but I mean, I had some crazy literally back in broadside me in my van, so I can't imagine like what happened. Yeah.
That happened at a Walmart.
In Roswell. It might have been an alien, I'm not sure. But
aliens need to check their rearview mirrors too when they're backing up.
I know. Well, they're probably like, that is such a cool ass van. Let's get a closer look, and just got too close. I don't know. No, it was a crazy dude that just he hit and ran. So, anyways,
it's fun. It's true though. I feel like every weird or sketchy experience we've had in a van parking lot has usually been in Walmarts.
Right?
Yeah. Well, the cop that came out and did the police report, he actually had a good point that I never thought about, was the fact that because Walmart parking lots are so big, it allows people to maneuver as fast and as quick and as whatever way. Like it's just too much room.
Right.
So, ding, I was like, okay. So I find when I park, I find places that have a small parking lot where when you turn, it's very deliberate and there's no room to just like peel out or like do whatever. So,
and in Cracker Barrel, everyone's so full from like their giant platters of fried chicken that they're taking their time rolling through that parking lot.
I hear you. Cracker Barrel is the best.
Yeah, but yeah, we met this great couple. Where did we meet them?
Orlando.
In Orlando, Cracker Barrel, and then all of a sudden we bump into them in a Cracker Barrel in Montana.
No way.
And it's just so nice to have connections like that, where it's like, you know, you always know there's a chance you're going to bump into a long lost friend somewhere in the country and come back together like, you know, you haven't even left.
Yeah, actually, before we moved into the van, when we were in Florida, we were thinking about it, looking at YouTube videos, and we were walking along this road that's along the beach, right on Palm Island near like West Palm Beach, and right there was a van that was open, and you know, this couple was living in it, and like we were like kind of peeking in, don't want to be rude, but they were super friendly, like showed us their van. They had 2 dogs, super sweet couple, and then when we saw that, we're like, wow, this is so cool, and like that really kind of pushed us over the edge to actually buy our first van. And then fast forward like 7 months, or even longer than that, we're driving into a campsite in Yellowstone, and we're driving, and this van's driving towards us, and we look in, and it's that same couple, and we're just like, our eyes meet and we're like, what? They're like, what?
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Small world.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets moving into 100 square feet with wheels?
Should have done it sooner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's your only regret?
Yeah.
You guys never, I guess, I don't want to say lonely is not the right word, but do you ever miss not just being able to go home, have a couch, turn on the TV, you know, like that routine kind of thing?
I thought I would, because I used to be very routine, like oriented, but I really adapted pretty well. I'd say the only tough part for me is that I tend to like more personal space, and it's a challenge, challenge in the van. I will say it is easier in the Storyteller, because I feel like I can sit in the Groove Lounge and then Chad's like behind me, and I kind of feel like I'm more alone.
I'm just breathing heavily.
I'm just
on
waiting
his
for
neck.
the curtain to slide across the van.
Right? They need that curtain.
Like, bye,
And you
that's my
find little
head.
ways, like I can hop on my one wheel and go off a ride by myself. But you do, when you're a couple living in a van, you do kind of lose a bit of independence. You know, you can't go to the store alone. You know, if Chad wants to go to the store, we both got to go to the store. I mean, I can stay in the van, but we've got to go everywhere together. So
Right.
I feel like that's been the biggest thing, is just the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're working, you know, and going to an office, you spend most of your day apart, you know, and then you come back, and that's the time when it's like you wine and dine, you know what I mean? You can hang out together, you enjoy it. But here it's like every single moment of every single day we're together. So having to find ways to make sure, you know, our needs are met, that we have the space that we need in the relationship, I feel like is always something that we're working on.
Yeah.
And what's your best tool to be able to do that? Just communication, not taking things too seriously?
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Love.
We met at a Buddhist monastery, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like we're on the same page about, you know, mindfulness and communication and how to resolve conflict. So that definitely helped. But otherwise, I think just making sure to set clear boundaries. Like if I'm doing work, you know, if Paul's doing work, I'll say, look, I'm going to take the next couple hours or the afternoon to do work, and then let's go hike, you know, later at night or something like that.
Yeah. And really being clear about what you want. Like, you know, sometimes I got to say to Chad, like, Chad, I just can't talk to you for the next hour. I just got to concentrate. Really sorry. And then we'll hang out, you know.
And I'll still talk to him.
So much for boundaries, right?
That's when the next level comes in, which is the noise canceling headphones.
That's smart. That's smart. Is it tuned just for Chad's frequency?
Yep.
my very high pitch.
Well, I think that's awesome. So how long you guys been married?
We're going on 6 years.
6 years and approximately a year and a half in the van? 2 years?
Yeah, a year and a half almost, yeah.
Okay, and you guys haven't murdered each other, clearly, so that's good.
One of us hasn't wound up on the side of a highway somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been a great, I feel like, so there's this kind of Zen saying or story where, you know, when you live as a community together, you start as a bunch of kind of rough rocks. And as those rocks get tumbled around, they start to polish each other.
Oh.
And I feel like that's been close to what we've experienced. You know, when you live together, you have no choice but to work things out. You can't just let things fester, you know, go into another room or slam the door. You have no choice. Otherwise, it's just not going to be possible to live in such a small space.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are definitely forced to work things out on the spot. Yeah. High five. I don't know how you all do it, but oh my goodness, all the kudos to you. So how did the YouTube channel evolve from this?
That's a good question. I feel like I just wanted to, there are a lot of memories that I didn't want to miss. You know, I wanted to document our memories, and it never started as like a van life or like a techie kind of thing. It was more so like just having fun documenting our experiences around the country so that we could look back on it and, you know, watch them and see, if there were any places we wanted to revisit. And then over time, I just had so much fun editing, and we had a lot of fun, recording the vlog together, that it just kind of evolved. And then when we wanted to get a storyteller, we were looking on YouTube, and we didn't see any videos of people actually living in a storyteller. A lot of them were tours, at dealerships. And that was really motivating for us, because it was content that we wanted to see, which I feel like is always good when you're making content that you yourself would want to see. So that's kind of what it's evolved into.
So you do all the editing, and then what do you do as far as the YouTube? Are you like the marketer, or
Me?
Yeah, or do you do the editing as well? Like, I'm just curious, like how you guys split the, I guess, responsibilities and tasks.
Yeah.
So actually, I have my own YouTube channel that I've had for 3 or 4 years now. It talks all about how we sell on eBay and Amazon. It's like more e-commerce, drop shipping channel.
Okay.
So I'm kind of busy with that. So the Chad and Paul YouTube channel is pretty much all Chad.
Paul's the pretty face.
Okay.
Yeah. So
the Chad production show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it was funny because like when we started it, like I was giving Chad like tips because I had experience, and now he's just like surpassed me. He gets more views than me on his channel. Like, his editing is way better. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome to see. I'm very proud of him.
Oh, thanks, babe. It really is just fun, and that's for me. I don't want to make any videos that aren't fun to make, or that like might be boring for us to put together. It's just about, and for us too, it brings us closer, because it forces you to explore and see things that then you can talk about together.
Yeah. And I think it's also just a great creative outlet too, because some of the, I think that when you got the storyteller and all the shots and panning that you did, I was like, oh, that's pretty tight.
I feel like you get, with any work that you love, you get into this flow, and you kind of lose yourself in it a little bit. And I don't know, it's always been that way for me, to try and find that flow. And for now, vlogging and editing kind of gives that to me.
Yeah. So being on YouTube, you must have some haters out there. How do you deal with those haters?
We thought moving into a van and traveling around, we might experience more homophobia on the road. But online, it's been a lot worse. It's been
they're relentless.
Oh my God, like so much trolling, and it's almost like a full-time job just to delete the comments that are inappropriate, or the messages. And when we go live, we have a great moderator who can keep an eye out for things like that. But that's the toughest part, I think, is the homophobic comments, right?
Yeah, I mean, having my channel for a while, kind of got a thick skin to it, kind of get over it. But it was like a different level when it starts attacking your more personal life and your partner and who you choose to, live your life with. That got a little bit more personal. But again, gotta get over it and realize those people are just hiding behind a screen and kind of cowardly for doing it online. So they'll never say it to your face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the sad part. That's the thing that, that smoke screen that other people have behind their keyboard. They're probably in the bottom of their, parents' basement. And that's ridiculous. So do you read all the comments then?
I do.
Wow.
I love the community aspect of it. So I read and respond to every single comment that we get. And initially I thought that the bad comments were just going to be general, like, oh, I hate this sucks, you suck. But some of them get really personal.
Well, like, do you mind sharing, like, what one of the worst ones were?
I don't know if I don't know if you're going to censor this, but I mean, just a lot of it is sexually perverse, I think. Yeah. But also homophobic at the same time. Okay. Yeah. Like, very nasty, like.
Yeah, so that's interesting because... I considered myself kind of lucky on my channel because being a guy, I wasn't getting the same kind of comments that, like, I knew this woman who had a very similar channel to mine talking about e-commerce, and her comments were ruthless. Like, the stuff people would say on her channel just because she was a woman, it was terrible. Wow. And I feel like now that we're putting ourselves out there as a gay couple, we're kind of facing that in a different way, but kind of similar.
We used to, give you an example. You might need to cut this out. But we had a black tank in our old van, so we would call the dump tube the Stinky Slinky. So you can imagine all the different variations on Stinky Slinky and being a gay couple you can come up with. So,
oh yeah, I bet. Oh, but
some of them are ingenious. I have to give some of them. But
getting creative out there.
Yeah.
But that situation alone has got to bring you guys closer in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's us against them.
Yeah.
And sometimes Paul has to hold me back. I'm like, I just want to respond to this.
Yeah.
But I just wind up deleting them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what are the tips when you respond? Like, do you have like a 12-hour cooldown period or,
At first, I got really, I felt really hurt by them and would have to talk it over with Paul. But now it's just, I use that delete button, and just or block them.
There's a big difference between constructive feedback and just being harassed.
Right.
And we're not going to tolerate harassment. We're not going to tolerate homophobia or bigotry. Just delete it. It's our channel. We're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Do you report them to YouTube?
I don't.
No?
I feel like I should. But I just, I don't know. I feel like it's easier just to
Delete and block.
Yeah.
That's good.
Maybe I should start doing that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll do anything. I was just curious.
Yeah.
But moving on to greener pastures. So, how long do you guys plan to live this kind of lifestyle? Like, where do you see yourselves in 5 years from today?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't have any time frame for it. We're loving it right now. There's still so much of the United States we want to see. We want to go into Canada. We want to go into South America eventually. So, yeah, we have no long-term or short-term plans.
We're horrible planners. It's really bad. Like, we don't know where we're going to be tonight. But I initially wanted to live in a sailboat full time.
Oh, wow.
So that's still in my heart. So I hope.
As Paul squiggles.
Yeah, I know, right? You can see who enjoys what more. I'll throw in another one wheel for you if you let me guess.
Can't ride a one wheel on a boat.
But I feel like it would be so nice to have a van and have a boat so you could explore land and sea and just be total nomads.
Wow, that is the ultimate nomad.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That'd be cool.
Do you have any close-term goals that you guys are trying to reach? Either personal or professional? Doesn't matter.
I feel like really living each day moment to moment is so important. And in a van, in some way, it's easier because that's kind of what you're doing. But sometimes it can make it more difficult because there's so many things you want to see. Like today we're like, do we want to go to Sedona? Do we want to go to Bisbee? And you start to live for those moments when you're out and about or exploring a specific area instead of just enjoying living in the van, whether it's in a parking lot, or at a boondocking spot. So really trying to stay rooted in the present moment and enjoy this life while you can.
So for the parking, do you guys try to stay on the BLM land or do you do the urban stealth parking?
We prefer BLM when it's available. So pretty much as soon as we hit like west of Texas or even before that, that's where we're staying on BLM land. We don't really do a ton of quote unquote like stealth parking. We'll stay at establishments that allow us to stay there. Like you mentioned Cracker Barrel before. We have parked on the street before, but we haven't done it a ton, really.
Yeah. More so when, like, in the Northeast, when you don't really have a choice to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Like in Brooklyn, Philadelphia, up in Maine. We actually were surprised because there's not a ton of van lifers up in the Northeast, but it was so cool. If you can get over, if you have any inhibitions with street parking or urban boondocking, it's a really cool place to check out.
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah.
But we had, the Travato we had was, when you looked at it, it was very much a camper van. It had a lot of stickers on the side, or graphics on the side, thank you. Lights, like anyone who knows, like, that's a camper van. And our storyteller, I feel like is actually more stealth because we have a white one. So it kind of does look more like a cargo van, but it's still a camper van. So I think stealth camping is really hard to do unless you have like a custom van that really is just nothing on it. you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also a little bit overrated, or people overthink it, stealth parking. I think if I think it's really more about luck, honestly, whether someone notices you and reports you or doesn't. Because I think if you are living in a van, there's things that obviously give it away. And if someone knows, they know. If they don't know, they don't know.
Right.
Like in Key West last year, we had a blast. We were there for a week, no issues. It was amazing. This year we went down, and that night we got the knock and
Oh,
had to move
no.
on. So,
Yeah.
and we were in the same area. So,
Really?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think van life haters are just cracking down a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's in a lot of the areas where there are profitable campgrounds that I think probably lobby or push, the local board to really crack down on it, because I understand it does drive down their profits, but I feel like what's the harm if I don't know.
Well, what's the harm if the campsites are always full anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like you're going to
Class A's.
stay there anyways.
Right.
I know.
You're basically freeing up a spot so someone else can take it. I mean,
Right.
For sure.
Ugh.
And in the Keys, it's like those campgrounds are booked like for a full year.
Oh,
And
I
they're
bet.
expensive.
So, since you guys are relatively new to the storyteller community and van, what are some tips that you have for people who are window shopping, who want to get involved, who want to buy it, but they just don't know if they should pull the trigger or not? Like, what advice do you have for those people?
First, join the Facebook group. Start just looking around. Like I said before, it's really hard to find one to get into. I have seen people post in the Facebook group saying, "Hey, I live in this area. Is anyone like around that could just look at one?" And I think someone responded and actually said, "Yeah, I'll be in that area," which was super cool that they did that. So it's always worth a shot.
One of the other things is, I feel like if you can just rent any van or
Yeah.
RV and get a better understanding of how you like to roll. Like, if you had asked me a year ago if I'd be cool living in a van that didn't have a fixed toilet, I would say, hell no, like I need that. But after being, on the road full time for a year, we realized that we hardly use the toilet anyways. So it was fine for us having a portable cassette toilet. So I think understanding how you're going to use the van is one of the most important considerations before you get any.
Yeah, that's good advice. Have you guys used the shower, or let me rephrase this. When you use the porta potty or the cassette toilet, privacy issues,
Oh,
stinky issues, like what are we talking about here? What's the situation?
so
What's the situation, Paul?
yeah, I mean, you turn on the fan, you can open up the shower, and the curtain drops down, gives you a little bit of privacy.
Except for your
And
little feet hanging out the side.
Just move quick.
But I'm like, woo, I don't care. They're like,
care.
whatever, look at me.
Oh, so that's interesting. So you drop the halo shower down when you use the bathroom for privacy.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's clever.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
what only Paul does that, though.
I do that.
Oh. So what about emptying it? Are you guys bashful pulling up somewhere to emptying it, or?
So we actually haven't used the cassette part of it yet because we haven't needed to.
Okay.
So what we've done is we 99% of the time we're using public facilities, or if we're on BLM land, we're just digging a cat hole. And I've meant to, try using the cassette toilet for a full week just to test it out, because a lot of people want to see a video on it. But honestly, it's so infrequently that the times we've had to use it for number two is normally like at night when when we have an unplanned event. And honestly, at this point, we've just done like a composting bag and then disposed of it, just because it's so infrequent. I know you're not supposed to do that, or like there's a special way you're supposed to dispose of human waste that go to a specific disposal site. But for us, that's been fine for the way that we've needed to use it.
Yeah.
And then for number one, we'll go outside when we're on BLM land, or just use Nalgene bottles.
Yeah, we have two Nalgene bottles.
This is revealing a lot. So
I know,
you're getting the real,
I love
dirt on the Chad and
Yeah,
Paul.
what it's really like to live the van life.
Yeah.
And for us, we much prefer that. It's just easier than, I'm sure the cassette toilet is fine, and I'm gonna, try it for a week to see really what it's like. But it's been so that setup has worked for us. And like I said, there are bathrooms everywhere. We hardly, if ever, find ourselves in a position where we can't find a bathroom somewhere that we can use.
But one rule we've decided is never pass up a free bathroom.
Which is why we
Yeah.
thank
Good
you
call.
so much for letting
Yeah,
us-
of course. I know how it is. What about showers? What do you guys do for showers?
We use a Halo shower.
Okay.
That's in there.
Love
We
the
love it.
shower.
Love
It's such an upgrade for us than the shower in our last van.
How many have you ever tracked like how much water you actually use when you take a shower?
Yes.
Good, right?
I can't remember how much we use, but I know how much gray tank it fills up. It's about 20% if we both shower.
Yeah.
Oh,
think it
both
was
of you?
about-
Yeah,
yeah,
so
Oh,
it's
wow.
about like 10% each.
Okay.
I think that was right. Is that right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's right.
But I forget how much water. The water tank in this van is bigger than our last van, so it almost feels like luxurious to us. We're like, oh my gosh, we have so much water.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you guys have issues filling up water?
No.
No.
It is one of our challenges to like find a place with safe potable water.
I
Mhm.
like finding.
Yeah, so that's like probably like the most annoying upkeep things. Like, oh, where are we going to find water?
Yeah.
So
But that's better than where we're going to find water, where are we going to dump, how much
Mhm.
is it going to cost? So it's nice to not have to think about dumping a black tank.
Yeah.
But for water, we have the Clear 2O inline filter, and then we use our Berkey water bottle. Have you seen those? The Berkey Sport water bottles?
Mhm.
They're
Yeah,
great.
I have one.
And, oh,
cool.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just fill up right from the sink faucet there,
Okay.
which is great. We do miss having the bigger Berkey, but for now the water bottles work really well.
Nice.
Mm.
This has been such a fun time with you two. I could go on forever and ever, but I know that you guys probably are itching to get back on the road, and I do appreciate the time for stopping and to come talk to us. But I like to end every episode with one question. What does it mean for you guys to be a part of the Stoke Nation community?
I think it means that we have a sense of adventure, and that we're willing to kind of live a different life. And for us that means full time. For a lot of people that means that's how they that's the fun for them on the weekends or on their vacations. But I think it really means more than anything a real sense of adventure.
That's good.
What about you, Chad?
I feel like it's being there for others in the community or who want to join the community. Whether it's, someone randomly coming up to us on the street and saying, oh, that band looks so cool. What is it? Can I learn more about it? Or if there's someone in the storyteller group that's having an issue or needs help or has a question, just being there for the community, I think is important and great.
That's a great way to end the podcast. Again, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And safe travels out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we're going to take you one wheeling now.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I'm so scared, actually. Hang on. Let me just pray to my God real quick. No. That's awesome. I can't wait. All right. Stonation is a production of Park Media. The executive producer is Younghwa Kim. The audio engineer is
Stephen Grasso.
The marketing director is
Guillaume, Golsong.
The original music and artists is done by
Jason Walsmith.
The sound designer is
Lorenzo, Interiano.
and the assistant sound designer is
Peng.
Without any of these people, this podcast couldn't happen, so a big, huge thank you. And a big, huge thank you to you, the listener. If you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a 5-star review. This is Younghwa with Stonation, and I can't wait to share the road with you.